You sit at a desk for 4 to 8 hours a day, and eventually your lower back starts to ache. But that ache is actually a symptom. The real source of the problem isn't in your back at all. In this anatomical breakdown, the red shading represents the chronic tension you feel in the lumbar spine. That tension originates here, in the blue structure, the psoas, which anchors to the front of your vertebrae and travels through the pelvis to the hip. This illustration details how sitting damages that muscle through adaptive shortening. On the left, leaving an arm in a sling physically shortens and locks the bicep. On the right, the office chair acts as a similar cast for your hips. Here is the mechanical chain reaction when you stand. Notice the diagonal red vector in stages 2 and 3. Because the psoas is shortened, standing forces it to stretch, causing tendons to tug violently and pull your lower spine out of alignment. To stop this constant pulling on your spine, we need to restore the muscle to its natural length. That requires a strict 2-phase protocol, first breaking apart the rigid tissue and then safely stretching it back out. This flowchart illustrates the physiological requirement for repair. Because an adhered muscle physically resists lengthening, you must complete Phase 1, fascia release, to break of tissue restrictions before attempting the Phase 2 stretch. To execute Phase 1, you need a spiky massage ball. A smooth lacrosse ball or tennis ball won't work here. The spiky texture is required to physically penetrate and grip the thick fascial tissue. Look at the blue circle at the lower hip crease, our most accessible entry point to the psoas. But note the red X. The upper insertion points are protected behind your intestines. Never press deeply into your stomach to reach them. By successfully breaking up the tension strictly at that lower hip crease, we introduce enough slack into the muscle line to relieve the pulling on your lower back. Lie face down and place the spiky ball directly into the hip crease target zone. This matrix guides our release. Level 1, roll over the ball, mashing tight spots for 60 seconds. Level 2, lift your knee 15 times to drive fibers into the ball. Level 3, loop a strap around your foot and pull high, maximizing the stretch. If you are just starting this protocol, do not attempt the strap technique. Wait several sessions until the baseline density of your tissue has noticeably softened before introducing this deep tension hold. This pressure is uncomfortable, but targeted compression is required to physically shatter the dense webbing of fascial adhesions built up from years of sitting. Once the deep tissue is released, you can maintain that mobility using a percussion massage gun. Take 60-second micro breaks throughout your workday to keep blood flowing into the hip flexor. This diagram illustrates a critical failure point. You cannot perform this maintenance while sitting in an office chair, as the psoas is collapsed. To make percussive therapy effective, you must stand perfectly straight. This elongates the muscle fibers, exposing them for the massage gun. Intervening with active blood flow every few hours disrupts the adaptive shortening process entirely, preventing the muscle from locking back into a shortened state. With the fascial adhesions broken up, we move to Phase 2. Start by dropping into a standard kneeling lunge position. The left panel shows a flawed lunge. A straight back leg hides the muscle origin, and dropped shoulders collapse the tissue. To fix this, internally rotate the back leg. Then force your torso strictly upright, holding a broom overhead and leaning away to maximize tension. Hold this highly corrected posture for a minimum of 30 seconds, completing 3 sets on each side. This engineered positioning is the only reliable way to force elasticity back into the specific anchor points of the psoas muscle. By completing both phases, you have successfully disrupted the structural tension dragging your spine out of alignment. This chart grounds the timeline for repair. Look at the massive block representing years of sitting. You can't reverse a decade of adaptation in one afternoon. Biomechanical repair requires weeks of daily work. You must melt adhesions day by day until functionality is restored. But that consistency pays off. You will return to pain-free desk work. You will hit proper depth in your squats. You will execute heavy deadlifts without that nagging pull in your lower back. You now have a specific blueprint to dismantle what is essentially a mechanical flaw. Restoring the length of the psoas provides a permanent solution for reclaiming a completely pain-free and highly functional life.